9, 8.
You're watching The Experience, Comic Culture and Sales. Streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
2, 1.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Talking Shop. You know the great thing about pairs? When you get a perfect pair, things that just belong together, you know, like chocolate and peanut butter, tuna and mayonnaise, Abbott and Costello. Yeah, I know I'm old. Taylor and Travis. Today, we've got that perfect pairing again. Heavy metal and comic books. So we got a great interview coming up in just a second. You guys are going to want to stick around for, because it rocks. Be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Talking Shop here on The Experience. Today we are going to talk to, this is a heavy metal band that has been around for about 14 years from what I have been gathering. This is a group that has not only been doing their own music, but they have also been working with comics. There was a pairing with Valiant. They have their own stuff coming out. They've done an anthology book. And all of it is really awesome. They have a brand new project coming up that's got a Kickstarter. It's going to launch soon. So we're going to have them on to talk about it. This is Nina and Josh from A Sound of Thunder.
Hello.
Hello.
How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Excellent.
Good. So I'm right. You guys have been around since about 2010, right?
2009 for me, but our bass player joined in 2010. So I guess it's been, what is it, 15?
A really long time.
A really long time.
Yeah.
So how did this idea of a pairing of metal and comic books come together? I mean, I'm guessing Josh is kind of a comic book fan.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But Nina is too. In fact, when we met, when she came to her first audition for the band, I would not let her in unless she rendered her opinion on Grant Morrison's X-Men at the very first rehearsal. So,
not a fan.
I said, Cat Beast, yes or no, and she wisely answered no, and we let her in, and she auditioned.
I agree with you on the Cat Beast thing. Yeah. Anyway, but so. You guys have been working together this long. What was it that Josh, you started the band?
The drummer and I started the band just about a year before we met Nina. And Nina joined in the end of 2009. And then in 2010, the bass player came along. And then we didn't have a lineup change for 13 years. So that's why we say 2010. That was really when the whole band was together. But we were, Nina and I were both into comics. Jesse, our bass player, is into comics as well. But we were never a band to do a lot of touchy-feely songs about our personal, emotions and love stories. And, yeah, Nina writes most of the lyrics, and she likes to tell stories about, people getting killed in various ways, people taking revenge, people suffering from revenge.
Yeah.
Pain
and Suffering, the musical.
If there's swords involved, even better. And the lyrics were just kind of in that realm already. Mm-hmm. And it's we're telling fiction stories with our songs already.
Right.
And coming up with our own stories.
Yeah, and that's pretty. I don't want to say standard, but that's pretty common in metal. I mean, Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, stuff like that. They've been telling these stories. I mean, Judas Priest did a rock opera.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nostradamus.
I am Nostradamus.
Yep.
One of my
I remember
favorites.
listening to that album when it came out too. I was like, this is actually pretty cool.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, well, a great example because that's a band that's had lots of cool characters over the years, screaming for vengeance. I was like, what's the story with that bird on the cover? Mm-hmm. Or the Sentinel, Defender of the Faith.
Who is the Jugulator?
Who is the Jugulator? One day we'll learn his origin.
One day we'll find out, I'm sure.
Right. And then you look at Iron Maiden, they've been doing stuff with Eddie for all these years. So, yeah,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Queen of Hell. That's your new book.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a new book. I mean, it's a new book, but you've been with these characters for a while, right?
Yeah. When I first started the band, I was coming out of another band, and I had a couple of songs that I had written for them. And Josh saw one called Queen of Hell, and he was like, "Ooh, we should do that." And so we rewrote it completely. We created our own character. I created the Queen of Hell. And then Josh, he decided that she needed a villain. So we came up with Udaroth, which is a combination of Udo and, sorry, I want to say Eli Roth, but it's another Roth.
No. It was Udo Dirkschneider from Accept.
Yes,
and
my favorite.
Uli John Roth from the Scorpions is where we
That's the
took the
one.
name from.
Yeah, and he was supposed to look like a little goblin man, but he wound up being this huge, like, barbarian evil demon. So he became kind of one of our mascots. So the Queen of Hell and Udaroth are our mascots.
Yeah, and Nina took that story originally with her from her World of Warcraft.
My role-playing days, yep.
Nice. I feel like I would totally be friends with you guys.
Oh, thank
World of
you.
Warcraft, yeah, I'm all on with that.
Do you like WoW and nerd shit? Then yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I played WoW from Burning Crusade up until just
Burning
recently
Crusade.
with the Dragon.
What a newbie.
I know.
I
was late to the party.
Launch.
I know. I was late to the party.
I never stopped.
So, tell me about Queen of Hell. Who is she, and why do her and Udaroth have such a adversarial relationship?
Josh, tell my story.
Cecilia was born to serve in Hell, born to serve Udaroth. Without giving too much of the story away, Udaroth and his followers and various demonic powers were involved in Cecilia's origin. Cecilia is the human name of the future Queen of Hell. But Heaven was also aware of Cecilia and the fact that she was kind of meant to be this demonic force. So Heaven gets involved, and Heaven starts manipulating her too during her life. And what the real place where the story touches grass is tied in with real life is that this is just a person that's just trying to live her own life, but there's these forces trying to tell her what to do, how to live her life. And metalheads don't like being told what to do. I don't know if that's news, but that's where the real core of the story is, forging your own destiny, not letting other people tell you what you're supposed to do. And gosh, it's hard to not get into spoilers, but let's just say Cecilia is not one to be messed with, and does not like to be pushed around.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, Udaroth there's a music video that pretty much explains Udaroth's backstory. So, we'll try to put a link up to it. But that's from what I watched was pretty much this guy, barbarian overlord king, gets killed by one of the slave girls, ends up down in hell, and decides to take over there.
Yep. That's pretty much it. Yes.
Udaroth is a bottomless pit of desire to conquer.
He's like greed.
Desire for power, and he has a certain limitation, which drives him absolutely crazy. And Cecilia plays into that factor. That's how she plays into his plans.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, you have this Kickstarter coming up. Tell us about it. What is being offered? What are some of the perks? What is it you guys are going to use to entice the fans?
It's actually
out right now. Yeah,
we've got about 10 days left on it right now. It's been going for about 3 weeks. We launched it at Baltimore Comic-Con. And the comic book story itself is 92 pages, full color, split up into 4 issues. And those 4 issues will be available in some form going forward, maybe just a trade paperback eventually. But there's also a record, the Queen of Hell Initium record, and there's one song that ties directly into each issue. So one of the things that I think makes our project cool and different from other comic book tie-ins or graphic novels that have been done about albums is that we conceived everything together at the same time. You know, we had the outline, we wrote the music based on the outline. Then the script for the comic came together. Then Nina wrote the lyrics based on the script. They tie together really closely. You can enjoy them separately, but together they're more than the sum of their parts, basically. On the Kickstarter, we have a ton of cool variants that are only going to be available on the Kickstarter. There's like 22 variants on the Kickstarter, various rarity levels. There's a chrome on there that we're both super excited about because we're both total 90s kids.
Shiny.
Yeah, so we did a holochrome cover. There's a sketch variant. I'm super proud of this. I believe we did a world's first. This is a blank sketch variant record jacket.
Nice.
There's only 100 copies of these, and they're printed on the reverse board, whereas normally you'd have like the shiny gloss record jacket material on the outside. They flip it over and they printed this on the inside board, so it'll take ink, so you can actually get your own cover, just like a sketch.
It's like the opposite of the Black Album.
It's yes,
the White Album.
How much? So those are on there. There's 3 different colors vinyl. We did glow in the dark vinyl, splatter vinyl, solid red vinyl, cassettes, and all of this stuff is only going to be on the Kickstarter. In fact, we decided we're not even doing a streaming release, and we're cutting Amazon completely out of the loop.
Yeah, screw you, Amazon.
Basically, screw Spotify and screw Amazon.
Yeah, we need the money.
Yeah, we've been 100% independent for 14 years. This is our 10th Kickstarter campaign, and we're the most funded metal band in the history of Kickstarter. Because we just really like to take care of our fans and supporters. That, in all honesty, the people who support us on Kickstarter are the only ones that keep us going. Mm-hmm. We appreciate that people listen to us on Spotify. We have 100 times more people that listen to us on Spotify than back the Kickstarters, but the people that back the Kickstarters are 99% of what keeps us going. So this one's just for them, basically. And the main covers of this may be available later. We'll probably end up just having it as a trade paperback, so it'll be one book. But the cool comics and the variants, all the vinyl colors, the CD, there's a whole bonus CD. There's a red cassette that's limited to 100 copies. All of that stuff is basically just for Kickstarter backers, because these campaigns are what keep us going, making cool stuff for people. And that's all it's about for us, is we just want to make cool stuff.
Yeah, we don't get paid.
Yeah, we never take money out of the band. It's all, if we have any extra at the end of this, it's all going to go to our record producer and our comic team to work on Queen of Hell Part 2. So that's basically the pitch. Come help us. We're independent, and we're going to give you back 110% of what you put into it.
So you've kickstarted like all your albums and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Back to our 3rd album. We did our first one real low budget on our own. When we started out, we just thought we were like a garage band, and we kind of figured out over a couple of years that like, oh, maybe we're pretty good. Maybe we need to do this more seriously. And then the 2nd album was the only album we ever put out on a record label. And that we could just see that no record label was going to promote us as aggressively as we promote ourselves. And no record label was going to let us be ourselves. Mm-hmm. And, we were told, oh, you can't put that song on the record. It's too bluesy, and you're a metal band. You can't do a ballad.
Kill That Bitch was not universally loved at first, but it has become one of our most popular songs. So just goes to show that you got to go with your heart.
Oh yeah.
We like to do like kind of schizophrenic albums sometimes with lots of that cover a lot of ground, and we know we don't like to repeat the same album twice in a row, and labels want the exact opposite of that. Mm-hmm. They want you to pump out product that fits exactly in a niche so they can market it easily. And we just always kind of said, screw that. We're going to be ourselves. And, the world doesn't need more preconceived product. We
are a band. We are not content creators. We are musicians. And we like to make music that actually makes us excited. So if we're writing music and it makes us excited, that's a good sign to us.
Yeah. And we took that approach to comics as well.
See, now you've got me curious, because you said that you had an outline for the story, and then you wrote the music based on the outline. So all the music for this Kickstarter is new music, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So what is your creative process like here? I mean, how did this particular project come about? You said, so you came up with the story and the outline first and worked from there. And how did the comic creators come in? You have, I got the names here.
It's Rafer Roberts.
Rafer Roberts, who had done Rick and Morty before, and Mike Ratera?
Yeah.
From Conan the Conqueror.
Yeah.
So how did this whole process work to go from, oh, we have this idea, to now this comic with music and everything else? It sounds, I mean, I've made comics. Adding the musical part seems like a lot more to it. So
yeah, it was. We had some practice because we did the Shadow Man album. It's called Tales from the Dead Side, and we did it officially licensed with Valiant. And we told them, hey, we do not want to do like an Elseworlds, type of album where it's just like some licensed thing and it's just not really based on the comics. We were like, no, we need to talk to your editors and find out what's coming up in the comic. And we wrote an album that completely encompasses our 16-issue run of Shadow Man by Justin Jordan and Peter Milligan. And we're like, this is in continuity. It's official. It tells the story of what happened in those books. So we had some practice. And in that instance, it was like, okay, Shadow Man, he's from New Orleans. There's demons and spirits, and it takes place at night. So that tells you a lot about what it needs to sound like. It's a little spooky, a little bit of Black Sabbath, a little bit of King Diamond, throw a little jazz and blues in there to get the New Orleans. So we had practice with that.
And a single punk song.
Yes, for Punk Bombo.
Mm-hmm.
But with Queen of Hell, it was a really long process. We had been kicking around story ideas back in 2013, 2014, when we did the first two songs, Queen of Hell and Udaroth, and we had our main characters. Nina and I built up a little more story, and then we started, we knew at that point that we wanted to do a comic. And we had some designs and some early work done by Paulina Ganesho. She's done some work for DC. I think she's writing Powerpuff Girls right now. Yeah, and she's got a incredible design eye. So she did the armor that became the classic armor for Udaroth and Queen of Hell. Later on, when we did the Valiant thing, we met Rafer Roberts because he was writing Archer and Armstrong, which is one of Nina and I's favorite books at Valiant. He did Harbinger Renegade for them as well, and a book I love for Dark Horse called Grumble. So once we met him, it was like, okay, we have our writer now. We really clicked with him, and he brought a unique sensibility where it wasn't going to just be kind of a standard sword and sorcery fantasy book. He brought a little bit of a twist to it because Rafer's got a real kind of messed up, subversive sense of humor.
It's good stuff.
Yeah, and he sent it off in his own direction. So at that point, then we start writing like it's Shadow Man. We've got an outline that Rafer helped us complete, and we know what is going to be in the comics of the first story arc. So then we start writing the instrumental music. Okay, what's this going to feel like? Nina comes up with her vocal melodies with lyrics that eventually got thrown away. Then while we're doing that, Rafer's writing his script. Once he finishes the script, he sends it back to us. Nina redoes the lyrics to match the script. So in each song, it's mirroring events in each issue specifically. Song number 1 goes with issue 1, but it's not just retelling it. It's adding some character perspective. There's stuff in the songs that's maybe between panels, or you're getting where you don't get a first person from one of the characters in the comic. You can get it in the song. We've got some guest singers. There's somebody singing as Lucifer and another guy singing as Udaroth on one of the songs. And we put all that together, and did the final recordings while the comic team was working on the actual comic. And our artist, Mike Ratera, kind of completed the picture with, we met him in Spain. We had a freak hit single in the Catalonia region of Spain. And that's where Mike's from. He actually teaches comic art at a university in Barcelona. So he found us around then, and that completed the team. And he's been working on this since 2019. I think he turned in the first page of artwork in April 2019. And you saw the preview today. You saw how detailed it was. You can tell he's spending a lot of time. There's no skimping on backgrounds in this book.
I was expecting, from having seen the Udaroth video, that kind of art.
Oh.
And then I opened this book and I'm like, no, this is like hyper detailed, really. When I saw that he had been drawing Conan, I'm like, well, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big Conan fan.
Yeah, the animation I view it, and versus the comic I view as it's almost like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, only in the reverse order. Like the cartoon is the funnier version, and the comic is a separate continuity. It's definitely a lot more serious.
Now, is Mike also doing the color work on there, or is there a colorist? Or
we have two colorists on the book that alternated. Issues 1 and 3 are by Diego El Parada. He's from Madrid. And the issues 2 and 4 are by Max Bayo, who's from Barcelona.
Yeah, the preview art was just absolutely gorgeous, and the color really worked well with it. I mean, that is one of the things you see in indie or in books outside of the big 2 or 3 is the pieces don't necessarily all congeal together well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a cohesiveness to what I was looking at that it could have been just about from any company. I mean, it really clicks together when I was looking at it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we definitely, thank you. Yeah, we didn't want to slap together something that just looked like, oh, local band tried to do a comic. Like
we wanted it to look we wanted our comic to look as cool as a comic that we would have wanted to pick up as teenagers. And I wanted a comic specifically that my mom would have said no to. And that's what we have now.
Yeah.
My first thought when I saw it, it reminded me, and this was probably 15 years ago, when Dark Horse got the Conan license, and Kurt Busiek was writing it, and Carrie Nord was drawing it.
I thought you were going to say Carrie Nord. Yeah, I could totally see that.
And that is probably some of my favorite Conan work from that. So I saw that book. I'm like, yeah, this really stands out. So I think people who are looking, who are art lovers, should check out this book. If nothing else gets your attention, the art on this book should get your attention. You should check out the Kickstarter.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's really incredible. And you were right to shout out the colorist, because I don't know if you saw the preview in the black and white work, but Mike, the artist, works really hand in hand with the colorists, because he doesn't put a lot of depth in with his blacks. He leaves a lot of that to the colorists. So they're really doing a lot of the work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise you if they've worked together in the past.
They all have, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, there's definitely a shorthand between them going on. So, yeah, I'm the guy that looks at, well, who the letterer is, who's the colorist, because I've done all those jobs. So it's like being the bass player. It's like, no, you got to give love to everybody.
Yeah, it takes everybody. And if one person drops the ball, it affects the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So now this is, you said it's going to probably be either a four issue series or altogether in a graphic novel. Is this the start? And you want to do more? Where do you see them going?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say we still have 10 days to go on this Kickstarter, but I think it's safe to say it's been successful enough so far that we're going to continue with our plans, there's 3 acts to this. So it's 3 4-issue arcs and 3 EPs that will combine to form a 12-issue arc and a kind of a album and a half to a double album's worth of music.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we say EP, so you're thinking about 4 songs per?
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
because it's
12
one
songs
song
in total,
per
12 issues in total.
Nice. Now,
And a box set eventually because we love that kind of crap.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I remember getting the Queensryche Mindcrime box set, and that was just so spectacular. You know, this
Mm-hmm.
and the little animated video in it and stuff. So, yeah. Um, you mentioned that you had done Tales from the Dead Side, and also you also did a Dr. Mirage.
Yeah, we did a song based on Dr. Mirage, and then late after that, we did another song based on Rye from Valiant, and Dan Abnett wrote the lyrics for that with us. That was a fun collaboration. I'm a huge Dan Abnett fan, so that was really cool when we got to do that.
So, how did that come about? How did you get hooked up with Valiant?
People ask us this all the time. Yeah, we walked up to them and asked them, and they were like, "Okay." We literally, Nina and I were at Baltimore Comic-Con in 2014, 2014, and we walked up to the Valiant table and we just gave them a CD and shook their hands and were like, "Hey, we're Josh and Nina from A Sound of Thunder. We want to do some music about your characters."
But the thing is, I don't think it would have gone anywhere if we didn't already have a good product. Like the album we gave them was Tales from the No, it
was Time Zero.
Time Zero. And that's one of a lot of our fans' favorite albums. So we gave them Time Zero. And I think if Time Zero wasn't good, then they wouldn't have let us do anything. So it was a good combo.
And it was good timing too, because Valiant, that was right after they relaunched. I think 2012 was summer of Valiant when they relaunched with all new continuity and new creators. And so we got to them in year 2. And it wasn't like they were at a point where Metallica was going to approach them to do an album about Valiant, you know, that they were willing to take a look at this little scrappy independent band. And I'm glad they did. And I think we did justice to that Shadow Man arc, though.
Plus, we raised all the money ourselves. So, they didn't really have much to lose financially.
Yeah. Yeah. And we carried over a lot of those Valiant fans, and they're still backing us to this day. And they're going to be getting Queen of Hell.
Great. Now, did you guys go in wanting Shadow Man, or was it just whatever character they were going to let you play with?
Well, if it would have been up to me, it was Shadow Man.
Yeah, it was either Shadow Man or Exo Manowar. But I think we decided not to try with Manowar because there's a band called Manowar, and we've already had enough legal problems with Manowar at this point in our lives. Like, couldn't do anymore. So Shadow Man it is.
Yeah, and Valiant actually was concerned about the trademark issue with Manowar if we did an Exo Manowar album.
Yeah.
But those would have been the ones. Maybe Eternal Warrior, that would have been right up our alley too. Yeah. Not Bloodshot, because I felt like Guns didn't really fit with our ethos as a band.
Yeah, no, I like violence, but I like sword and knife violence, not
Bloodshot. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Valiant universe, and I remember when all this was happening and reading the books at the time, and they were doing a lot of interesting stuff at that point. They also did that YouTube series, Ninjak versus the Valiant Universe, and I actually got to go down and hang out on set for a day.
Oh, so, I think I saw that before they took it offline. That was online for like 10 minutes.
They put it back. It's actually back up now.
Oh, good for them. It wasn't bad. Yeah. Like, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. It was definitely low budget, but I've seen worse.
Yeah, and the guy that played Ninjak, Mike Rowe, is a good actor. They had Jason David Franks in it. So it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. So it was an interesting era of Valiant. I kind of wish they would get some of that scrappiness they had then back.
I've enjoyed what they put out so far this year. And I really, that Rye run that we did that song about, that was from 2019. So that was on the more recent side, I guess. And in fact, they just continued it a few months ago. Dan Abnett came back and did 2 more oversized issues to finish that run.
Oh, cool.
So they've done some cool stuff. Yeah, it was Rye and Master Dark. Rye, Book of the Dark, I think.
Oh, yeah, Book of the Dark.
Book of the Dark, 2-issue series this year. That was strong.
Nice. So you like Valiant. What are the other comics out there you guys are digging right now? What are are you currently actively following books, and what are the ones that have got your attention?
Right now, I'm collecting Uncanny X-Men and what's the other one called? It's Exceptional X-Men. And I think they just ended it, the Gargoyles comics. I'm a big Gargoyles fan, so I collected all the comics. Those are great. I love them. And I think the creator, Greg Weisman, from his time in Disney, like he's the creator and he is the one that is writing these comics. So it's all canon and I just love it.
Yeah, I know they did another series, Gargoyles Quest, which was like a past one, but I think they're going to do a new series.
Yes.
Kind of might like to do that, do a certain number, then let's do another number one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there was Gargoyles, then they did Gargoyles Quest, which was like a back in time one, I think. And they did like a Demona one off, which I love. And soon, TM, I should be getting my box set of the old issues that they recently reprinted. They did a Kickstarter for that went very well. So I'm getting all of the back issues because I never got to read them in the 90s.
Yeah, that Kickstarter was crazy. I haven't seen anything take off like that since Critical Role did their animated series. Just watching the show, the Kickstarter just,
yeah, we got to do that.
How about you, Josh? What are you reading?
Well, I am still collecting, although I've been such a Marvel Zombie and Valiant reader for so long that I had not really read a lot of classics from other publishers. So I took a break. I'm still getting my pulls, but I'm just letting them pile up right now. I read Watchmen for the first time this year, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
Reread Miracle Man. Right now I'm reading Mort Cinder. I don't know if you've heard of that one, but it's by Alberto Breccia. It was a strip, but it's perfect for Halloween. As far as new stuff, Joseph Schmalke's 7 Years in Darkness is on my pull list. I'm really enjoying that. And he's actually a collaborator on Queen of Hell. He did a set of variant covers for us.
Nice.
But that dude has such a cool design sense about all his work. It's just his color palette and his composition, like everything just looks amazing that he touches. And again, it's perfect spooky Halloween season type artwork. So I definitely support 7 Years in Darkness. And I love the classics. So I've been reading Amazing Spider-Man because they got John Romita Jr. back, and I'm a sucker for JR. So no complaints there.
Nice. You were talking about, you mentioned Smokey doing covers. You said you've got variant covers and stuff in the Kickstarter. Who are some of the artists doing the covers for you?
Oh, sure. Well, I can show you this. So this is one of the rarest ones. This is the original design of Queen of Hell. So this is a Pauline Nagano design cover. And if you know her work, you can see how different that is from her current style. She was trying to be a little more metal and go a little different direction with this one.
She did good.
That's one. So she did two. There's an Uderoth one as well. This is one of the Joe Schmalke covers. You can see what I talk about. It's very stark. There's not a lot of colors, but the colors that are there work great.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's getting a little glare there, but there's a set of 4 of these. And then our main covers, our painted covers, are by Dusan Markovic.
He's the same guy that does a lot of our album covers, so people will see a big correlation between that and our albums.
Yeah, so this is a more detailed painted style, which kind of fit the fantasy vibe. So he did a set of 4, and we have some one-offs in the campaign as well. Here's the other Paulina. That's Uderoth, the original design of Uderoth. And here's a campaign exclusive. This is Bo Bradshaw. Bo Bradshaw does a lot of artwork for metal bands. Does album covers and T-shirts. He works for Unleash the Archers. I'm not sure. I'm sure he's done comics work, but he's most well known for working for metal bands.
Nice.
And we have one just out of reach by Rachel Persephone. And I'm sure I'm forgetting some as well. And there's a sketch cover. There's some virgin art variants of the ones I showed you. So there's a lot of options there. And I don't have the foil in reach, but there's a foil as well.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Now, I kind of want to go back to the music side. So when you explained how it works doing comic related.
That's on my side.
That's you, Josh.
There's an old folks home about 3 blocks that way. So about once an hour, somebody dies.
Oh, wow.
So, like we're a metal band. Sometimes we get dark.
I've taken care of elderly people, so I get it. So, you explained your process for writing music or writing the comic and stuff. What about when you're just sitting down to write music? How does that process work? I mean, Nina does the lyrics, but what's the process? Do you start with the music, start with the lyrics?
It's about 50-50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it starts in rehearsal with all of us there, and I'll start playing a riff, and then we'll all come in together and just jam it out, and it develops on its own in rehearsal.
And I'll write lyrics while we're jamming. Or sometimes I'll get inspired and I'll write like a whole thing of lyrics and send it to Josh, and he'll like get ideas from those lyrics on for riffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that works kind of the way writing to Shadow Man or Queen of Hell did. If she's got a set of lyrics for me, that can set a mood for me, and I'm good. Once I know what I feel like the mood should be, then I can pick my vocabulary of notes or chords and get into that vibe. Sometimes I'll do that on my own, and I'll do a demo at home, an instrumental demo, and send that out to the band. So that's the other half of the time. So it really just depends on what we're working on. You know, we spent the last couple of years really absorbed in the Queen of Hell world. So those are 12 of the last 15 or so original songs we did were all Queen of Hell. You know, we have the whole Acts 2 and Acts 3. The music is all written already. So that's, yeah. And I would say, like probably half of those came from the rehearsal room when we're together, and the other half started as demos and then went to the band.
So when are we going to shift over to the Queen of Hell musical?
Oh my God, what a dream. As soon as we get famous enough that I can get an investor, because God knows I don't have that kind of money, but I do know a theater group. I sometimes perform as Mrs. Lovett in the prog metal version of Sweeney Todd. So I know people, but we need the money. So maybe someday.
Well, I do hear it as a musical or an animated film eventually. You know, we came from the Udaroth animation before we even got to the comics. So there's a pre-visualization in the animated world, and we'll have the whole story storyboarded in comic book form.
Come on, Netflix, give me some money. Give me some of that sweet Netflix money.
But I think we're merely one band, so we're going to finish these 3 arcs of comics and concept EPs, and then we'll see what comes of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said that you met like Valiant at Baltimore Comic-Con and stuff like that. How are conventions for you guys? I mean, I've worked conventions as a writer and stuff like that, but how is it as a band at a convention?
I love conventions. I love to cosplay. I've been going to conventions since I was 15 years old. I started with anime conventions and I moved on to comic book conventions. I still do both, but me and Josh, what we usually do is we'll get a big table at Baltimore Comic-Con and we will promote our, Queen of Hell project as well as all of our albums. And the crossover between metal fans and comic book fans, it's a lot. So we get a lot of new fans from those comic conventions.
Yeah. You can imagine that it's a little bit harder sell than if we were there just selling comics.
Right.
When we first started, we didn't have as many comics. Then we did a graphic novel, and now we have the series, so it's a little easier. But when you find those people in the middle of the Venn diagram who do love metal and comics, like we've made some really good fans and friends even from that environment. And I think they can tell when they meet us that we just love being in that environment too.
Yeah, I've seen a couple bands do conventions, and usually what happens is the people at the tables around them either become friends or they hate them for hearing the same songs over and over again.
Oh, that's
we do that.
Us.
We do that to people, but nobody's ever gotten mad at us.
Yeah, we warned them beforehand. Nobody's
Probably
ever gotten
because
mad yet.
probably because our music is so good.
There you go.
I'm just going to assume that's the reason.
One time long ago, we were at a convention and there were these two girls sitting across from us. And I was like, they look like interesting, like alt girls. What are they doing? Are they models? What's going on here? And then I saw that they were selling shoes and t-shirts. And I was like, what is going on? Turns out they were the Butcher Babies. But because of their label, they weren't allowed to sell any of their band merchandise or say who they were. So they were just kind of there selling like their Etsy shoes. It was very strange. And they never came up and said hi or anything. And we had a big TV that had us playing all of our music videos. So it was quite funny.
I remember a convention many years ago where I sat near the band Court Jester. And they had this song called Welcome to Hell.
Nice.
That was playing on loop. And by the end of it, you're walking around going, welcome to hell.
Yep.
Welcome to hell.
Definitely hell.
Yep. So, and the guy I was sharing the booth with ended up drawing their album cover. So,
nice. That was the same year that we were sitting next to a painter, and he hand paints everything like traditional painting. He did the album cover for a friend band of ours, Division. So.
And he had their album cover on him.
Yeah, he did.
Art for their album cover with him. And that was the same, actually, that was the same convention where we met Joseph Schmalke.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's been great going to conventions. We've met a lot of collaborators, people that worked on our anthology and people that are working on Queen of Hell now. And I love it because I don't know if you can tell that I like collecting back issues, but it's really nice to have your own table where you can go sit down and you can throw your, drop off some of your books. So,
well, I'm making all the sales. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, if they're going to buy from one of us, it's going to be from you.
It's probably going to be from me. Yeah.
Yeah. It is remarkable that I'm looking at you, Josh, and it looks like you're sitting in a comic shop.
That was intentional.
Yeah,
this is actually
an open one.
This is actually where I do all of our shipping. So my excuse to my wife for getting away with this and using a space like this is that I can put boards, like MDF boards, on top of all these comic tables, and then it's like my shipping station. So when we ship this Kickstarter, all of these comic boxes will be covered, and we'll have this twisting assembly line of comics and records and CDs and everything and boxes in here. And this is where it all will get put together.
Nice. So, all right. So Queen of Hell, you said you've done like 12, 14 songs of that. What's after Queen of Hell? I mean, you're focused on this, but is there other characters you'd love to play with? Like you want to go knock on Marvel's door going, we want to do a Spider-Man concept album. Or is there anything like that? Or do you have other characters in mind?
I don't think they're ever going to trust us with any of their characters. Like, take one look at what we do. They will never in a million years allow me to get my hands on the X-Men. But probably after this, we were talking about an album called, what was it, Thunderfest?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've done so much stuff. Like I said, we don't like to do the same album twice in a row. Queen of Hell, when it's all assembled, if you count it as one big album, will be our 10th album. So what we had talked about for the next one was Thunderfest, which the poster for the album looks like a concert poster, a big festival called Thunderfest that has all these different bands on it. But all the bands are different genres, and all the bands are us. So we'll assume a different band name and then write a song for that band name. So we have a 70s rock band called Wizard Band. And we have
my band, Nina and the Murder Lords, which is featured in the Queen of Hell comic. So
yeah, we did create the Murder Lords and put them in the comic.
The Murder Lords are real.
We have a speed metal band called Fist Krieg.
Mm-hmm.
So we're thinking about maybe just doing a really fun one and stretching out and doing some kind of different genres, all within heavy music, probably.
Right.
Doom metal band called Ruby Throne. There's a stoner metal band called Weed Lord.
Yeah, so this is one of the concepts we've been working on to have fun and stretch out musically. But as far as comic stuff, there's a bonus track on Queen of Hell, which we were not planning to write. We got an email, I don't know, maybe 5 months ago from Cullen Bunn.
Okay.
And he's working on, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to give away the title, but he's got a comic coming out through one of the publishers he works with. And he said, hey, do you want to do a song about this? And I was like, I don't know, man, we've got our hands full with Queen of Hell, but what's it called? And it contains the words Chainsaw Witch, which perked us up right away. And so we ended up writing this song called Chainsaw Witch, and we loved it so much. We're like, well, I guess we're doing it. We got to record it because it was so much fun, and it's a strong song. So unfortunately, his comic got delayed a little bit, but we're putting the song out on Halloween because we funded the Kickstarter, and that was one of the bonus tracks on this Kickstarter.
And we filmed the music video this Sunday, so I am really excited for everyone to see it because we got to light stuff on fire. And up until now, I have never been allowed to light things on fire, so this was very exciting for me.
Yeah. We got a whole metal band's career's quota of fire into one video because it was 3 gigantic bonfires, like the biggest fires you've ever seen, short of a building being on fire. It was pretty great. But that's just one example, like, of a comic book tie-in that we did that we weren't even planning to do. So I feel like Queen of Hell is so big, it's hard to think too far beyond that. Mm-hmm. It'll take us a few years to finish it. So it's just kind of, whatever comes along and strikes our fancy at the time.
By the way, you're perfectly safe talking about Cullen Bunn because he works with every publisher and he's doing about 24 books a year. So
I don't know how he does it. I just assume he's writing all the time, like 24/7.
Yeah, that's what I figured too. I was doing reviews for a while and it seemed like every week there was a new Cullen Bunn book coming out. It's like, I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, he's got all these independent books coming out, and he's doing Venom again for Marvel right now. He worked on a Shadow Man song with us for Valiant. After we did the album, we came back and we did another single about Shadow Man when he was writing that book,
which was a great run. I just recently remember reading his Shadow Man run, and that was fantastic.
Yeah, and he helped us with the themes on that song, and that was another one where we went in another direction and we turned it into a disco song. So there's
I love that song, and we did a music video too, and we filmed it in a Confederate graveyard with a disco ball. That was one of my proudest moments.
It was a disco and a graveyard theme, and Shadow Man's actually in it. Valiant gave us the approval, so we got an actor to play Shadow Man and prowl around the graveyard. So it came out pretty cool.
That is very cool. Now, is that video on YouTube or?
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's called Theme from Shadow Man, and you can pop that right in there and it'll come up.
I'm going to definitely have to check that out. So, all right. We got a few more minutes left. We should probably circle back around and just hit the Kickstarter again, just to make sure everybody knows what's going on. Now, you said that you got 10 days left on it.
Mm-hmm.
So you've already hit the initial goal.
Yeah, we hit the initial goal. Right now we're working on stretch goals, which basically just means that we're going to throw in more free stuff for everybody that backs the campaign. So we already hit a stretch goal for a foil trading card. As we hit some more stretch goals, hopefully, I'm sure we will. There might be some little things like patches and stickers, magnets. And then as we get up there, there might be some art prints. We've been wanting to do a foil print. We've got to actually put our heads together this week and figure out what these last week's stretch goals are going to be. But there's just a ton of great stuff included already. We'll do free autographs on every physical item for anyone who backs the campaign. There's already a 12 by 12 art print that comes with every copy of the vinyl.
We're live streaming ourselves getting tattoos on the last day of the campaign.
Oh yeah, that's our big send off for the campaign. Is we're going to go get our band tattoos, which we've been putting off for a few years.
None of us have tattoos except Jesse, so it's going to be really fun.
What is the tattoo? Is it the same tattoo for all of you, or?
Yeah, I think we are. Logo. Yeah, we have the band logo, and we have Udaroth has a logo, the Queen of Hell has a logo, but we're all doing this one from our album called Time's Arrow, which is
you can see it right behind Josh, the guy who's holding it up.
Yeah, the circular logo back there, which it's just a little reminder that the time only moves in one direction. The original song is about time travel, and the theme was basically supposed to be don't waste your time
trying to go back.
You can't go back. Time is only moving forward, so don't waste time. Mm-hmm. So I figured I'm going to get that, and that's a nice reminder every day to try and have a good day and be productive.
Mm-hmm.
Inspirational messages. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Nina. So in a minute, encapsulate Queen of Hell. Just give me the Reader's Digest, the elevator pitch.
Okay. So a lady, she's a bartender. She's got a real nice boyfriend. Everything's going well. And suddenly she finds out that she has had her entire life manipulated by a demon lord. So she goes to hell, and he wants her to do what he wants her to do, and she doesn't like it. So instead of doing what he wants her to do, she decides to go off on her own path and becomes the Queen of Hell. That is the story, and that's what I'm sticking to.
And this is based on a true story.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Yes. It is based on.
Right.
Yeah.
I have to ask about our third guest today.
Oh, Lucas? Yes.
What is it?
His name is Lucas. He's a Scottish fold. He is my little buddy, and he likes to hang out with me whenever I'm doing a podcast, so I give him his own space.
There you go. He's very cute.
Thank you.
All right. So anything else people should know? Go and, anything that should entice them to check it out?
We're poor, and if you don't give us money, we can't keep making music. So, all those people who like to talk about how they're against the music industry and they don't like mainstream music and all that kind of stuff, tell them to look at our Kickstarter, because we're exactly who you should be giving your money to.
Yeah, if you like sticking it to the man, we have decided to stick it to the man by not putting this one on Amazon or Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
So, and support independent artists. You're going to get it directly from us. It's literally going to be packed up by me, autographed by all of us. And we just, we take a lot of pride in running a good Kickstarter and making our fans really happy. We call it Thunder Christmas when the packages start arriving on people's porches.
Nice.
And they're always happy because we make sure to send out cool shit that people are going to enjoy having.
Also, a good incentive is if you still live with your parents, this is the kind of stuff that will really upset them. So definitely buy our stuff, because it's going to make your mom worried. And everyone loves that.
First time I ever heard my father curse was the day we bought Queen Live Killers playing bicycle races. And my dad walked out half shaven, said, let him ride his effing bicycle and tell him to shut the F up.
Yeah, love it. That's what I'm talking about. Yes.
Definitely music can upset your parents.
Yes.
All right, we're going to wrap it up there. The band is A Sound of Thunder. The album is the album and comic is Queen of Hell Initium. It is on Kickstarter now. You only got 10 days left to check it out. So go now. As soon as we're done, go over there and check it out. The art is gorgeous. The music sounds awesome. So you want to check it out. Thank you guys for joining us. It was a real pleasure meeting you.
Thank you for having us.
And I wish you guys best of luck, man.
Thank you so much, Dan. Thank you.
Everybody take care. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.